Shawcross has a very wide and varied career in the state. He worked for 21 years as a special investigator in charge of the Fugitive Division of Bucks County in the DA's office. He was also in charge of the elder abuse. He was a unit leader in the elder abuse program. And he currently serves the Education Office of the Attorney General, Education and Outreach Specialist. This evening, he is going to be presenting to us a program that has been created by the Office of the Attorney General of the state of Pennsylvania. And this program was created for parents and for families to help them better understand the importance of internet safety and the seriousness of the issue. Agent Shawcross shall share the latest information on topics that are important to maintain safe communities. Children are growing up in a digital age, and they spend a lot of time online texting, using the internet for the resources. They have all the benefits of the internet when they do research, and they use it to create projects, but then there are also some downsides to the internet usage, and some of them can present some potentially dangerous situations for our children. Instant messaging and other kinds of Snapchat and other programs that are available to our children. These great tools need to be used wisely, and it is critical for us to help our children learn how to use them while protecting them while they enjoy all the benefits of the program. Now, he's going to be showing you also this evening little clips of the program that he shows to our children in grades 5 through 12. And we've already seen this program in past visits to our school, and it's an outstanding program that he presents to the children, and it has a powerful impact on the children. As part of the Attorney General's program, they kicked off a new internet safety program called Operation Safe Serve. And it is designed to educate children and their parents and schools about the importance of being safe online. Sticks and Stones, which is a big component of this program, addresses the issue of bullying and cyberbullying, which has really become a prevalent problem in the school environment, and it teaches valuable lessons on how to recognize bullying, handle the situation, and be a good digital citizen. On behalf of the school district, Agent Shawcross, I welcome you, and we look forward to your very wonderful presentation this evening.
Thank you very much. Okay. Good evening. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate your attendance. Before we start, would like to make a disclaimer and a mention that, number one, I'm not an attorney for the office, so nothing I say should be considered legal advice in any way. These are tips for safety and prevention of crime and situations that might unfold with action over the internet for your families. The other point I'd like to make before we get started is this is not the program that we show the children. This is an adult program for parents. I see some people have brought their children, and it's up to you to determine if you want them to remain in the room or not, because we are going to address some issues that might be a little much for them. We're going to talk about sexting, child pornography, abduction, and some other issues. So we're also going to show you some of the things that kids are getting involved in. If your child is not familiar with this, we don't want this to teach them the wrong thing either. So please make a decision if you'd like your child to remain with you or make other arrangements, maybe in the lobby or something of that nature. So I'll give everyone a moment to make that decision, because this is an adult-based program this evening. The kids program is something we do separately in the school during the school day, just so everyone's aware of that.
Our administrative staff is more than happy to take the children out into the lobby and stay with them.
So we will have a staff member that will entertain the children to the best of their abilities on short notice. So somebody can stay with them outside the lobby of the auditorium if you do decide to excuse your children from the auditorium at this time. I would suggest you do, but...
I'll gather the kids here if you want to come with me.
Super, thank you.
Parents, my name is Ms. Piazza. I'm the Director of Elementary Ed. So just so you know who your kids
Oh,
are
perfect
coming with.
person. There we go. Awesome. Thank you for volunteering.
Anyone else?
I don't want to turn this into how to get in trouble 101. All right. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate the opportunity to let the children leave the room. And with that said, Attorney General's office since 2008. I am part of our education and outreach section of the office, where we strive to come out with good information, resources, to give parents the tools that they may need, families the information that they may need, to improve their quality of life and to stay safe. And it's very important. When we go to the schools, we have a lot of programming. It's all free programming. We offer a drug and alcohol abuse discussion. We offer cyber safety, cyberbullying, and many other things. If you go to our website at www.attorneygeneral.gov, you can see all the programs under the education tab, and these are all free. We also have community programs. We go out and talk to our elderly and older adults about scams, fraud, other situations, misuse of power of attorney where they may be financially exploited, other elder abuse concerns and issues. We have an identity theft program and this family cyber safety program. And all our programs, again, are free. All you need to do is make a request. So maybe you belong to a civic society, some type of social club, homeowners association, your church, and you would like a presenter, please go onto our website, click on the education tab, and make a request for someone to contact you about coming out. Now with that, let's get right into it so we can make good use of our time. First off, did you know 278,000 tweets are sent over Twitter, which is social media apps that are very popular, 1.8 million likes on Facebook, 104,000 photos shared over Snapchat, 204 million emails sent worldwide. Now what do you think? Is this annually,
Is it your cell phone?
monthly, weekly, or daily? Daily? Every minute. Those numbers are per minute of each single day, every day. Now, I hope you have a focus how big the World Wide Web is and how dedicated and attached most people are to online internet programming, apps, social media sites, technology. This is the way of the world. Our kids are growing up in the digital age. They're digital citizens. My age bracket, I remember when I picked up the phone at home and I heard neighbors on it because we had a party line. You tell your kids about that today, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. What, other people on your phone? You didn't put them on there? What do you mean? Oh yeah, is that a conference call? Nope. you better hang up and wait your turn to talk. So things have changed. And a lot of times the kids know a lot more about it than mom and dad. That's what this is about. Try and get you to catch up a little bit on some of the things that are going on the internet. And I'm no tech expert, so I'm going to do my best to answer your questions about technology, but if I can't, I will refer you to someone or I will get back to you with some answers. We can meet afterwards and I'll get your information and contact you. First thing we have to make sure the kids understand is everything that happens online stays online. Nothing goes away. They think the delete button takes care of everything, and it doesn't. And when we do speak to the kids in the schools, we make that very clear. Delete does not mean gone forever. It means out of view. It's no longer in front of you to see. It's no longer a file that you can just click on right there on the main front screen and bring it up again. It's deleted. It doesn't mean that it is gone forever. It's archived on the hard drive, on the cloud, on the server, right? So if you have an internet service provider or an app that you have purchased to use or loaded, they may archive it also. There could be multiple copies of that message, that photo, that video, that you believe is deleted and gone, but it isn't. Imagine a kid thinking something is gone, and then 9 months, 10 months, a year later, it shows up again. They don't understand where it came from or how this happened. They need to understand that these things can happen and do happen every day. Because your child's digital footprint is very important. We explain to the kids that their digital footprint is how they are perceived in the digital world. Are you a good digital citizen? You know, a lot of times people can put on a smile, comb their hair, look nice, be polite, be well behaved in front of others, and then when they go online, they become a totally different person, including your own children. You might say, not my kid. I don't want you to leave here saying, not my kid. I want you to leave here saying, what can I do to be sure it won't be my kid? How do I protect my child so this is not my kid? That I'm not getting this phone call from the school, from the police department, from another family. We don't want it to be your kid. That's why we're here. Their digital footprint's important. When they go out for a job in the future, or apply for a college or university, or military service, or to be on a pro sports team, or even a law enforcement job, there's going to be an interview and a background check, and they're going to include their social media life. Some employers and universities are now making it a requirement that they have to provide the login and password of their social media account while they're sitting in the interview, and they bring it up to see what kind of online person you are. There was a young man who had a baseball scholarship to a university. He was working his whole high school time to be earning this scholarship, to go to this particular school to play baseball. And he was a great ball player. Very, very talented. A lot of scouts were watching him. He got the scholarship. Very proud of himself. His family was beaming. They told everyone their son's got the scholarship. 10 days before he was supposed to head out for that university, he was at a party. He was underage drinking at this party, and someone took a photo on a digital device and posted it to social media and account online. Social media accounts can tag your face. They have facial recognition programs. If you ever watch CSI, right? Or any of these spy shows, they're going to use facial recognition to identify the suspect in the crowd. Facebook does that with every photo that's loaded on Facebook. And when they match someone who knows other people, they share the photo with all those people on your friends list. This kid's photo, he's in the background. The picture wasn't directly of him. He was standing behind the people that were actually focused in on, but you could clearly see it was him, and he had beer in his hand. And that went posted to social media. The university saw that posting and withdrew the scholarship. He lost an opportunity. What would your child lose if their social media accounts were exposed in a pre-acceptance interview? What's on there? What don't you know about what's on there? And these are the kind of things we're looking at. Kids post everything. Their entire world is on social media. They post where they're at, when they're going to be there, who they're going to be with, what school they attend, what they think of their teachers, what they think of their parents. There's all sorts of things going on social media with our kids. It's their entire network. It is their world. Now, when I was growing up, we met out at the street corner at the lamppost, and then decided we're going to go play football, we're going to go play manhunt, what we're going to do, right? And when the light came on, you better be home, or your dad was at the end of the driveway screaming your name to the neighborhood. You knew you were in trouble. Kids don't do that today. They don't socialize by meeting up physically as often. But they are meeting constantly over social media. Practically 24 hours a day in some cases. But you can't be posting where you're going to be and what you're about to do because that's dangerous. You're giving too much information out to people who might be looking to do you harm. It might be someone that you don't know. That friend of a friend who friended another friend being in your social media account really might not be a friend of anyone. Might be a child predator. Might be a criminal. Might be someone looking to do that person's harm. And when you post, even as adults, well, sometimes we post too much too. And I got to remind adults this. You know, we do town watch meetings rather a lot of times in neighborhoods, and we got to tell people, don't post, hey, next week we're going to the Jersey Shore for 10 days. We're going to have a vacation. I'm looking forward to it. I need a break. Oh, I can't wait till we leave. Well, now everyone knows your home will be vacant and empty for 10 days, and it's setting you up for a burglary. You come back, where's my DVD? Where's the car? Where's all our stuff? Well, you advertised to everyone you aren't going to be home. That's an invitation for crime. So don't advertise what you're about to do. We're trying to get the kids to understand when you're done your activity, then you can talk about what you've done. Make it a history lesson. Last night, we went to the basketball game, had a great time, and afterwards we went to Crumley's and had ice cream. That's perfect, because it's already happened. Everyone's home safe and sound. It's over. Don't say tomorrow, this is what we're doing, because the wrong people might get that information. Even online gaming. A lot of the kids enjoy online gaming, Xbox Live, PS4, there's all these game stations they can get into. And it's a lot of fun, and it's interesting. There's a world list of people that play from all over the planet. People can be playing from Denmark, people from here, people from Germany, people from Australia, anyways. It's the World Wide Web. And you're gaming with people when you think everyone's from far away and you start a conversation because you can't talk while you're gaming. They have headsets where they can have live audio. They have texting abilities during the game, instant messaging, so they can communicate with these other players from all over the globe. But what if someone's not in Germany? What if they're right in Nazareth, or Bethlehem, or New York? And they strike up a conversation with your child during this online gaming. And they start to share information with one another. And decide, no, we really should meet. We should get together. I'll be coming to your area very soon. How about we get together? Tempting. Someone thinks they have a relationship. They think they know this person because they played online gaming with them for 4 or 5 months. It's tempting for that child to say yes and agree to a live meeting in person. That's extremely dangerous. We really don't know who that person is or where they're from. Music apps, iPods, MP3 players, these kind of things. You would assume, well, it's safe, it's only music. I think the mothership is landing. But I'm getting the signals from the control room there.
I don't know what that is.
So, you think you're on a music device and you think your child's safe. Oh, they're only getting music. I didn't want them to have a smartphone yet. They're not ready for that. I just got them the music player. Well, they can load an app like Kick Messenger and actually use it to send instant messaging like text messages back and forth over a music device. So now, the person that you thought was protected and safe because they can't communicate with strangers, they're only listening to music, can communicate with strangers. And then there's geotagging, right? Geotagging is a satellite-based system that you, when we take photographs with a digital device, such as a smartphone, tablet, or a digital camera. Think of it just like our GPS in our cars. When you have your GPS in your car, it uses a satellite signal to track the location of your vehicle against a map that's preloaded in the system. So that allows you to see on the screen where your vehicle is traveling and where your destination is, and it can counter and show you the terms that you need and the distance to travel to get to that destination. Well, that longitude and latitude, the GPS coordinates, are also geotagged when we take digital photos. If that digital camera, digital device, tablet, smartphone, whatever you're using to take the photo, if that has GPS enabled in the settings, it will actually leave an indicator to exactly where the picture was taken. So if you're out taking photos on vacation, that might be fine, not a big deal. It's going to geo-track those pictures to the Jersey Shore, the Empire State Building, wherever you happen to be. Florida on the beach, no big deal. But if you're taking photos of your family in your own home, people can go on social media when you post these photos, right-click on the picture, go to properties, and see the exact GPS coordinates to where the photo was taken. Which could lead a child predator to your front door because they saw the photo of your child on social media. It's always nice to share family photos, but it's not a great idea to share your family's location. But I'd be better off with the other one.
We could try it. I don't know if
It's here. It's this one.
Where they put it.
Here it is.
Everybody hear me? All right, let's go this way. So, it's great, but you don't want to share your family's location while you're sharing your family's moments and photos. Thank you very much. think you got to bring it up on the board. So be careful when you're doing this. If you're going to be taking family photos, here we go, we're live. If you're going to be taking family photos and posting them on social media, just be aware that you want to go into the settings on that device and turn off the GPS, because you don't want people tracking your photos and your family. Social media accounts are all sorts of things out there. The big one everyone recognizes, of course, is what? Facebook, right? Everyone's familiar with that? Everyone understands Facebook? Facebook's like a gallery of our friends that we can interact and communicate and share thoughts and ideas and photos and videos with. And there's a lot of people on Facebook. It's huge. One of the largest right now. Matter of fact, if Facebook was a country, it would be the third largest country in the world if those users were citizens of that country. Third largest in the world. It would be China, India, Facebook. That's huge, right? A lot of people. And for some reason, everyone thinks, well, I'll just check my kid's Facebook and I'll know everything that's going on. I got bad news for you. Kids are on Facebook, but that's not what they use the most. That's where they share the information they want mom and dad to find, because they know you're on Facebook. There's other information they don't put on Facebook, because they have tons of other options. All those other little icons that are around the big F for Facebook are other social media apps. And here's a few more. And I could build 10 more slides with these icons this size and not cover all the social media apps that are available. So don't think because you're on Facebook with your kid you know everything that's going on, because you are wrong. There's way much more available to them to share information on than just Facebook. And again, they know you're on Facebook. They know. They know who their friends are, right? Here's a few other ones that are important. Snapchat we heard about briefly in the introduction, right? You know, Snapchat can be very dangerous, and we're going to get into why that is. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about social media in general. And social media covers a lot of different things. If you can see on the screen, it covers blogs, pictures, forums, ratings, weblogs, podcasts. And it goes on and on. Wikis, right? Wikis are contributed sites where people put their own suggestions and ideas and thoughts into a profile that builds a record that people can go in as a resource. Wikipedia is a great example of that. Wikipedia doesn't necessarily always contain facts because it's contributed by individuals. So if the person is a genius that's contributing, you're probably in good shape. If the person that's contributing really doesn't know what they're talking about, and enough people agree with it, it will be part of that permanent page, and that can be a problem. And kids believe everything they read on the internet is true, and that's a problem. Make sure when you speak with your children about internet use, they understand not everything online has been verified to be true. There's a lot of non-truth. And we have to be careful with Wikipedia as our study research for our homework and other programs and projects. It's not always accurate. You know, let them know to find 2 or 3 other reliable sources to compare with. It's funny, I was talking about Wikipedia with the kids when I was here, and one kid said, you said it wrong. I said, no, I mean encyclopedias. When I was a kid, we had books, and they were in the library, and it was factual. It was all researched and proven. That's an encyclopedia. Wikipedia, who knows what you're reading about? And the kids thought that was pretty funny. They never heard of an encyclopedia. I guess I'm older than I want to be. I don't know. And when the kids sign up for these social media apps and these other programs online, there's an age requirement for a lot of them. Anyone want to take a guess at what the minimum age is to be on a lot of the social media like Facebook and Twitter? Anybody? 13. I heard 13. Very good. Now here's the real interesting point. What if your child's 12 and all their friends are on Twitter? They want to be on Twitter. But they go on and it says you have to be 13. They punch in their age is 12 and it kicks it back. What do you think happens next? They lie. Because there's no way to prove it or verify it. They go back in and put that they're 13 and in 35 seconds they're online and in it. No problem. It is a problem. There's a reason there's a suggested age. You know, moms and dads, guardians, people that are in charge of what's happening in your household need to be aware of what the minimum age is for these separate individual apps and accounts. Some of them are 15, some are 16 are minimum age. Make sure your child is using the appropriate forms and media apps that are on and available online for their age bracket. Check these things. Make sure that they are on honestly where they should be and not where they shouldn't be at their age. Here's a few examples of some of the things that kids like to use online. They're apps on their smartphones and tablets, and these are some of the dangers. Now, these aren't bad programs in general. They're not created to be a problem, but they can be misused, just like almost anything else. A baseball bat at a Little League game is a lot of fun and exercise, and it's a positive thing for our kids, right? But you take the same baseball bat, put it in the hands of some thug in a dark alley downtown someplace, and now you got trouble with the same piece of sporting equipment that was built for fun and entertainment and exercise. These apps were built for fun and entertainment, but when they're misused, we can have trouble. Instagram is anonymous. Anyone can be on there posting anything, and there's no way to know who it came from. It's a photo app, and there's hashtags to help search for subject matter and interesting pictures. The problem is sometimes users will send stuff up and edit those pictures, and they can also send short videos, and they can send them out to a group network. And a lot of times teens will vote, approve or disapprove, or give it ratings of popularity. And if your child is getting low ratings, that can be depressing. Strangers can send messages to kids. They can also add photos with the message and attach a picture. Selfies can be racy. They can be made public quickly and easily, not so private. And users should be 13 years of age. Here's Snapchat. We talked about that when it came up. Snapchat is really interesting. I am so glad that they picked a ghost for their logo. That helps me out because when I talk to parents and the kids, I always mention, every time you look at that button to touch that for Snapchat, you see that ghost? I want you to remember, what you send on Snapchat can come back to haunt you. Because kids think it's great. You set a timer and the photo self-destructs. It deletes automatically after 7 seconds, 10 seconds, 3 seconds. So what does that do? Kids get daring. They think, well, only this one person I'm sending it to is going to see it, and it's only going to be on the screen for 7 seconds. Nothing to worry about. I can have some fun. I can do things I wouldn't normally do because it's going to self-delete. The problem is, it's anonymous, it's a picture app, and kids believe those photos are gone. But they're not. They're not gone. Matter of fact, what happens is people can have another app on their device that will automatically detect something coming from Snapchat and archive a copy of it in your gallery in your device immediately. You don't even need to turn on the phone or touch it. It will automatically search it out, find it, and save it when it comes into you. So now, that person who thought, well, it's only going to be in for 7 seconds, doesn't realize you've captured it and you have it forever. You have a copy of that photo, that video. Now, it may send you a little notification that, oh, your picture's been copied. What can you do about it? You can't tell that person to delete it. They may say no. You're not in control. I tell the kids, once it's out, you're no longer in control. Anyone ever get too much toothpaste on the toothbrush in the morning? You ever do that? If too much comes out of the tube, try to put some back in the tube. Almost impossible. Well, that's what we tell the kids. When you send a message, a photo, a video, once it's out, it stays out. You're not getting it back in. It makes kids think that sexting is okay. Sexting is inappropriate photos of yourself sent to friends and others in various stages of undress, nudity. It's to impress your friends. It's to influence that boy or girl that we seem to have a crush on, want to date, or are dating. Sometimes it's peer pressure. You're asked to send the picture. These are real problems, because if they think it's only there for 3 seconds and disappears, and we know it doesn't,
Think about the outcome of that. It's a myth. They don't go away forever. And Snapchat's been hacked and lost over 10,000 photos already. One could be your child. And we don't know where they went or who hacked it. And think about that person who copied it. What did they do with it? Did they share it with 10 friends? Who shared it with 100 friends? Maybe the whole school has that photo now. Now your child's upset and doesn't want to come to school because they're embarrassed and they don't know what to do about it. We tell the kids, do not take selfies if you're not properly dressed. Don't let someone bully you or pressure you into sending them an inappropriate photo. Only bad will come out of this. There's nothing positive about sending these kind of images and pictures and videos of yourself. Think about your digital footprint then. Think about the embarrassment and depression. We've had kids commit suicide over Snapchat photos that have been released. Because they thought it was going to go away. And then they couldn't deal with the outcome when it didn't. Very important to talk to your kids about how these things really work. Vine, same kind of thing, mostly video, right? You can send photos and videos, you can talk about them, and they're very creative. There's filters and different additions and images that you can manipulate. And it's a community of users. You get grouped, right? You get a group. The problem is, I don't know if you can see on the screen here, but the phone that's being pictured here has porn on it. And you can search for porn on these things and get a lot of results. And there's no age guarantee that your child's not doing that or seeing that. You know, 6-second looping videos, again, kids get inappropriate because they think, oh, it's only 6 seconds. How much harm can that be? And they become public by default. Vine automatically makes everything that's sent through it a public setting. So if you have your security settings and privacy set, you make sure that it stays set. Because they're going to automatically default it to be a public view. Everything that you send through Vine. Parents can end up being star performers and not even realize it. If you're having a discussion with your spouse or a neighbor, your kid's walking around with his phone doing video, they can capture you and post you out in public. Be careful what you're doing when you see somebody raise a phone or a tablet. You know, don't be bad-mouthing your boss when you get home from work after a long day. And next thing you know, you're on YouTube. And your boss is on the phone. Really, I just saw your latest TV show. See you in the office tomorrow for your last day. You know, gotta watch. Everything today, kids are loving posting video. YouTube has more followers and people watching it than the major television networks today. That's amazing, isn't it? A lot of privacy concerns, obviously. Kik. Kik is the messenger I talked about when we said about online gaming and the music systems. Kik is free to use. It's a private messenger app, and there's no limit to how many characters in a message. So kids like that because other, like text messaging on the device that you purchased might have a limit. They might only be able to get 40 or 45 characters per text. This is unlimited, and it's free. It also does not appear on anyone's phone bills because there's no cost. The download is free. The use of it is free. So mom and dad look at the text messaging on the phone bill at the end of the month and think, oh, they're only texting their brother and the kid up the street and so, the coach. Oh, this is all good. Okay. It's all people we know. Oh, we were worried they might be texting someone else. Well, they have Kik Messenger. They're probably texting a lot of people and you have no clue what's being said or to who. Because that's not appearing on your bill. It's easy to copy all. You can do a group message outside, send it out, right? And Oink Text is another program that's very similar, and it links together and encourage you to have conversations with strangers and people you don't know. There's a great idea. We spent all these years telling our kids about stranger danger, and now there's apps that encourage you to talk to strangers. So kids get curious. Oh, hey, it can't be that bad if they're letting me do it on my phone. And it uses real names, so you're identified with your message. So if your real name is posted in your phone, in your device, it will pull it out and use it. Yik Yak, it's another one. Local. It's set up that it'll hit the closest 500 registered users when you want to send out a message on Yik Yak. So if you're going to send out a message, it's anonymous, and it was created for college campuses to communicate quickly with a lot of people. Send out events, information, that kind of thing. Well, the problem is it's free and it's location driven, so it's going to stay in a regional area up to 500 people within 1.5 miles. It's been used for violent threats against schools. There was a bomb threat sent out in Bucks County through Yik Yak. We caught the person and they were arrested. It exactly shows your location. You have to toggle off in your settings your location sharing. So if you don't think to go in there and do that, every time you're on as a user, your location is identified. Cyberbullying, of course, occurs quite often on this. Sexual content, location sharing, and we have to be careful about drug and alcohol sales to minors. A lot of times that's on there. Hey, I have stuff, I'm nearby, if you're interested, contact me, that kind of thing. Ask FM, it's another social media app. This is where you ask a question and get results back from people. You have a survey type of situation, right? What's your favorite food? Well, that's okay, that's a safe question, right? But the answers are anonymous, so people can say all sorts of nasty things and not have their name attached to it. People get very brave when they don't have to attach their name to it. The messaging that's on the screen now, if you look at the phone, it's featured in this slide, it says, ask me a question. The question is, what's up with Stevie P? Is he a loser or what? The answer, he needs to just kill himself and be gone. Well, it's not very good if you're Stevie P and you're on the loop and you're reading this. Kids can be very cruel and cutting, very mean. Bullying, false rumors, it opens in Facebook, so it's shared with even more people. It has been linked to other teen suicides as all. We've seen people using the Ask FM app and having a problem with people. And once one person starts to beat up on somebody, the mob mentality takes over, and you have a lot of people chiming in, just hammering this poor kid because they simply asked a question to be on Ask FM and fit in. And they find out they don't fit in, and they find out how mean their peers can be. Spill It, same kind of thing, another social media site where you ask about things. What do you like about me? Nothing. You clearly made this up because you're attention seeking, and it goes on and on. Very negative, a lot of bullying. Those opinions you really might not want to ask for because the answers might be very, very harmful. Cruel cutting leads to depression, very upsetting for a lot of kids. And Omegle, here's another great one. This one encourages you again to talk to strangers. That's the whole premise. Go to Omegle and talk to strangers. And if you look, it even says on their front page, don't get pervy, right? And it tells you there's an adult alternative version that you can click on if you're 18 or older. Well, you click on it and you type in you're 18 and guess where it takes you? Naughty Land. All sorts of creepy stuff going on. Very dangerous, unknown contacts, predator playground, inappropriate conversations, very, very dangerous. Kids get curious. Kids will go on that if they see it. Tinder is a dating hookup type site. And again, it uses profile ratings and it has a GPS locator, so it is regional. It shows where people are. Very dangerous. Again, same type of issues, bullying, inappropriate content, adults looking to meet children, and it gives out your GPS location. After school app, another one. Same kind of thing, location driven. It's going to be a general area within so many distance, so many miles, we'll put out the messaging. And if you think all these are bad enough, and you're going to check your kid's phone and device after you leave here tonight because now I freaked everybody out, you're going to be like, I'm checking that phone. Well, you might not see any of these and think, oh, boy, I'm so glad. I was afraid I was going to find some of these. Well, maybe it's because they've hidden them on their phone in a stealth app. Stealth apps do nothing other than hide other apps. So all of a sudden you see your child has 2 calculators on their app list. That should raise an eyebrow. Why do you need 2 calculators in your phone? Well, they weren't smart enough to delete the original calculator that came with the phone. When they loaded the stealth calculator, it hides their documents, their photos, their images, their videos, their text messages. You open it up, operates and functions just like a perfect calculator. You have to enter a particular set of numbers in the right sequence to get it to add up to a certain number. Then it gives you a password panel, and you enter the password, and then it takes you to all the hidden stuff behind it. And they're not just calculators. Some can look like the sports headlines. Some can look like the stock market information. Some look like a weather bug. It gives you the daily weather. They disguise these things to hide information in our devices, our smartphones, tablets, and iPads. You gotta be on the lookout for this stuff. Oh, there's a few to pick from. These are all stealth apps, and so is this page. And again, I probably could load about 5 or 6 more. And they all do something different to hide data, photos, and messaging. I give them a failure. We don't need our kids getting themselves in trouble because they're curious or they've been pressured or dared to do something, play something on their phone, and then they hide it. That's very dangerous. And it happens every day. Kids share way too much information. A survey was done that showed 82% of teens gave out their first name online, 29% include their last name, 79% post their photos, and 49% may include the name of their school. Child predators are just waiting in the wings. You're giving way too much information to someone who wants to do you harm, but you're not aware that person's out there. Kids don't think about that. Kids live in the moment. What's going on right this second, right now? Kids aren't thinking about, hey, there must be some creepy guy watching everything I do online. We try to inform the kids that this is reality. This is some of the things that go on. There is people out there that are not your friend. Facebook tells you everyone online's your friend. That's dangerous. You get a false sense of security. People are not your friends if you do not actually know them and have a long time earned relationship with respect and trust. A friend is someone you can call on, count on, and depend on because you have a history with them and know them very, very well. Everyone else online is simply a contact. But the kids are brainwashed. Everyone's your friend online. How many friends do you have? I have 500. I got 650. Oh yeah, tomorrow I'll have 702 because I gotta beat you. It's like a competition. They'll start friending anyone they find online just to say their numbers are going up. That's pretty scary. You'll friend anyone to have more friends than the kid next to you. Who are those friends? What information have you shared with them? How much do they know about you and your family? You know, we also deal with the elderly. I'm a part of our elder abuse unit, and I get a lot of complaints of what we call the grandparent scam. An older person will get a phone call, and the person on the phone, if a woman answers, the person will say, Grandma? If it's a man, they'll say, Grandpa? And the older person, the adult that's answering the phone, is going to be like, well, who is this? And 9 out of 10 times they'll go, is that you, Jimmy? They'll name a grandchild they think might be calling them. And the criminal on the other end will say, yeah, Grandma, that's Jimmy. I'm having a little bit of a problem, Grandma. Yeah, you know, we went on spring break from school, and my friend was with me. He was driving the rental car. I didn't know he had drugs in his car with him, and he got pulled over, and I'm in jail in Mexico. You have to send $5,000, but don't tell Mom and Dad. They'll be so mad at me. When we get back, we're going to pay you back, Grandma. Would you help me, Grandma? What grandfather isn't going to help their grandkid in trouble? We have seniors losing $26,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to these scams. And a lot of them are investigated. We find out that they learned a little bit about the family sometimes on social media. Kids say too much on their platform, if they're on Facebook, Twitter, whatever they're on. Criminals look and search for information they can use. Maybe they're not a predator that's looking to attack the child, but they might be a predator going after that child's grandparent. They know enough information to say a couple key things to Grandma, and Grandma's on her way to the bank, lickety-split. We all have to be careful. with technology. Facebook friends. Here's Bill. Bill's a great guy on Facebook, Bill Cano. Bill has a super profile. He's very active on Facebook. He's a surfer. Bill lives in Florida, and I believe Bill is 15 years of age. Very popular on Facebook, has a lot of friends on Facebook, of course. And Bill just likes to have a good time. He likes the sunshine, loves to be outdoors, loves sports and surfing. And he's friends with another guy. This other friend is Anthony. We're going to call him Rip. And Rip is really a cool dude. And Rip is, again, super big in social media. A lot of friends going on with Rip. And he's always out there hanging out down the beach. Just cool guys having a great time on social media. They share a lot of their stories back and forth. And they're very popular out there on Facebook. Now, we have another guy who goes out there, too. The next guy's on Facebook, and he's a little different. But he has his own set of followers, and this is where we're going to meet Glenn Kiefer. Glenn sends this kind of photo on his Facebook settings. Glenn likes to be interesting, dress up. This is Glenn as a clown hanging out on Facebook, and Glenn has a lot of followers, believe it or not, just a whole different kind of group. But what's really neat and interesting is when you start to see how people link together their friends. There's Bill, here's Anthony or Rip, right? And there's Glenn. We found that there's a pattern here. They were all actually William Ainsworth, a 53-year-old man, posing as a 15-year-old surfer, a 14-year-old boy, and a 20-year-old guy who likes to dress up like a clown. It was all William Ainsworth, 53 years old. William Ainsworth is the Facebook predator. We arrested him. He is currently in the Pennsylvania State prison system. You know how we found out about William Ainsworth and Bill and Rip and Glenn? We were at a school having an assembly for the kids, talking about internet safety. And at the end of that assembly, two young girls came up to our agent who was there doing the program and spoke to him afterwards and said, we're on social media all the time, and we were really close with Bill Cano, and Bill was a surfer, and he got cancer and died. And his friend Anthony, Rip, we call him Rip, he was so busted up, we thought he was going to commit suicide. He was so upset, but we talked to him, and we were really trying to help him out. And then he started asking us some really kind of weird questions that kind of didn't feel right. Started asking us personal stuff and sent him pictures of ourselves. Our agent went back to the office and immediately opened a child predator investigation. That's how we arrested William Ainsworth. We were at a school, and a kid spoke up. Something's not right with our communications on Facebook with this guy. That's a win. But unfortunately, we wish we would have caught him a lot earlier. He used multiple teen identities. He solicited young girls for photos and sex. He traveled to the home of a 14-year-old girl for a sexual act, manipulated them to send nude photos. He had 7 victims in total, ranging age from 13 to 15. And he would groom the victims by speaking to them as Bill, Rip, or Glenn, targeting things that the kids would have an interest in and be associated with, using the same kind of terminology, talking to them about problems at home, problems at school, how he understands. So he is charged with 68 felony counts. And I'm not going to read them all. You can look at the screen and get the general idea of what kind of a creep William Ainsworth is. But at least we know that he's in a state penitentiary right now. He's serving 14 to 28 years. And after that has 16 years of state monitored parole. He's also registered now as a Megan's Law predator. I wish we would have got on to him a lot sooner so those victims didn't have to go through what they went through. We don't want your child to be a victim. That's why this is so important tonight. That's why I'm glad that you're here. I wish every seat in this auditorium was filled. There's a lot of parents that need to be here that aren't. And I certainly hope they never have to experience this kind of horror for their family. Predators troll for kids at popular sites. They love online gaming, open chat rooms. They like to communicate with like interests. They groom to establish those relationships, and they look for both boys and girls as victims. And our child predator section has made arrests from 18 years of age to 80 years of age as child predators. Talk with your kids. Be part of the solution. Be a parent. You're not their friend. You're the parent. You're in control. Who pays the bill for the internet service provider? Do they do it or do you do it? Who bought the equipment to be connected to the internet? That smartphone, that tablet, that pad, that gaming device. I'm sure you did. They're in your home, under your roof. Be the parent. Take charge. Talk to them. Let them know you love them and you care for them and you want them to be safe. When we talk to the kids, we talk about stranger danger, and we make it quite clear. Even when I go down to the kindergartners, we have a talk about stranger danger. That strangers are not just in your neighborhood or on the playground or nearby. They're on the internet. Kindergarten kids are using the internet now. I hope you know that. Okay? They need to be warned as well, but in the right way, for their appropriate age level. We have a cartoon. It's called Bo Paul the Technocat, who gets on the computer and gets herself in some trouble. And that's how we talk to the little guys, elementary students. Then in the middle school, we bring in a different PowerPoint, not what you've seen, of course, but we have a PowerPoint, and we talk to the middle schoolers about good digital citizenship, cyberbullying, being safe online. And then the high school, we have another PowerPoint and some videos. We're going to show you some clips of these videos. You know, we have to just always remember, not everyone is who they appear to be. Who are you really communicating with? You never know who's behind that screen. You just don't know. Don't wait till it's too late to have this talk. Address this. You know, I always encourage parents to be involved. You know, and don't come down like, you know, you're the warlord of the house, right? Come out and say to the kids, hey, I heard there's some really new apps that are pretty cool, but I don't have them on my phone. Can you show me how some of these things work? If the kids think that you're really genuinely interested and they're going to show you a thing or two, you might have a lot easier time getting that chair next to theirs at the PC or at the tablet on the table to spend some time on the internet with your kids. Let them give you a tour. Let them show you around, and then slowly work into some of these conversations about the dangers that are online. But build a relationship with your kids first about being online, right? Get their interest heightened, get them to want to show you a few things. There is criminal activity that's on the internet all the time. Sexting is a real problem. Partially clothed, nudity, photos of sexual acts of children being shared either by photo, by video, or over computer files is sexual abuse of a child. It's child pornography. These are crimes. Think about it. You're on a shared network. Mom and dad's phones connected to the kids' phones and tablets. Maybe you have the cloud. Maybe you have iPhone, family plan. Think about your kids are sending inappropriate photos of themselves to friends, and all of a sudden somebody searches your phone, maybe at work for some reason, or you drop it off to get it repaired over at the store, Best Buy or someplace, and all of a sudden the police are knocking on your door because they found photos of a 14-year-old not dressed on your device. Well, you didn't put it there, but you're in the connected network, so it was automatically shared from your child posting it or receiving it. Better get yourself an attorney and start explaining what's going on here. How'd that show up on your phone? I don't know. I mean, you probably don't know, but guess what? It's your device, it's in your name, and it's on there. That's not going to make for a great afternoon, is it? Right? Other issues, cyberbullying, right? Repeated harassment over the internet. Cyber harassment of a child is a new law in Pennsylvania. It was just brought out this summer. Pennsylvania law now says anyone who commits the crime cyber harassment of a child is anyone with the intent to harass, annoy, or alarm the person and engages in continuing course of conduct, making any of the following by electronic, digital means directly or through publication or on social media. Disparaging statements, opinions about the child's physical characteristics, sexuality, sexual activity, mental or physical health or conditions, or threatens them to inflict them with harm. If you're an adult and you're doing this, sending this kind of messaging to a juvenile, a child under 18, you're looking at a misdemeanor too. You could be facing jail time. If it's a child, your child could be charged with a crime harassing another child over the internet now in Pennsylvania. They're going to go to a juvenile discipline hearing. They may be put in front of a youth aid panel if your county has that, or go to a county court, to a juvenile court system, and they're going to be automatically sentenced if found guilty to an educational program where they have to sit through a series of programs, and depending on their background and record, perhaps detention at a juvenile facility. So cyberbullying in Pennsylvania is a crime, even if you're a child doing it to another child. Of course, there's always discretion. The officer's going to look at the situation, what's going on, make a decision. The district attorney's going to look at it, make a decision if this case is something that's valid and worthy to go on, or all the elements of the crime have been met to have a prosecution. But we don't want you to end up waiting to hear if this is going to be a case or not. We want you to know ahead of time so you can warn your kids not to get engaged in this. Don't be part of the problem. And the cloud opens up a whole can of worms for a lot of this stuff because people aren't aware that it's shared automatically in a lot of these cases. And again, I'm not a real high-tech kind of guy, so I'm going to do my best to explain the cloud real briefly. And I think the best way I can do that and keep it simple is to say, at your house, when you run out of room for stuff, what do? We go out and find an off-site storage facility and rent a storage box, right? You go to one of those, you store it, you keep the key joints, and you rent one of these little garages, and you put your extra stuff there. It's not on your property, but you know where it is. You know you can go out and get it at any time, and you can put it back, and it's secure, and it will stay there until you need it again, right? The cloud is the off-site storage facility for your computer or device. When there's not enough memory, you have too much stuff in there, you can send it to the cloud, and it can be shared on all the devices that are connected to the cloud in that network, so you can retrieve that item anytime and put it back at any time. Does that work? Everybody kind of get that? Right? Okay. Parents, you need to understand that you are in charge. You are the adult that signed up for that internet service and that device. You should have your child's password and login information. If they refuse, then they don't need to be on the internet. They're not mature enough to handle it. If they don't understand it, you need to know that. If something happens to your child, it may take over 48 hours to get a search warrant to find out what activity's been back and forth on that device over that internet service provider. And I'm sure you've heard about Apple and the FBI. They're at a stalemate over releasing the encryption information on that device of a terrorist. And we're not going to get into the debate, but think about something going on where your child is a victim and the service provider refuses to release the information on a search warrant. As a parent, how would you feel when you're told, well, we're worried about everyone's privacy, so it's a shame your child was hurt or worse, but we're not going to give out that information. Other people deserve to have their privacy. You need to have that password at hand, ready to go if there's an emergency. You need to know everything that goes on that device, okay? This is our computer forensic crime lab, mobile crime lab. We have 2 trucks. General Kane went to the legislators, and I applaud our state senators and state representatives because they saw the value in these trucks, and they extended the special spending out of the budget to buy 2 of these mobile forensic crime trucks. These trucks are in service throughout the state of Pennsylvania. They can be called upon by any local police department at any time. We will send our computer forensics team with the truck to support and help any law enforcement agency in Pennsylvania. If there is a cyber crime in your community and your police does not have the resources, they call the Attorney General and we roll one of these trucks out there to help them and support them in that investigation right away. This truck is equipped with equipment that we can go and pull all the drives, computers, and devices out of that house on a search warrant, put them in the truck. It will start to process all data and information that's ever passed through it. It'll give us a printout of all activity by date, ready to be built into an affidavit of probable cause to go to the court and process a charge against this person. It even has a little area that's set up with a video camera and a desk that we can take confessions, videotape confession right there in the truck. And we've already done that and had people plead guilty right there on the scene, sitting in the back of the truck. They start seeing the information we're loading off their equipment. Oh, I thought I deleted that. I thought that was gone. Well, I guess you got me. Yeah, I guess we do. Face that camera, make your statement. You're under arrest. These trucks are great. It's a great tool. Over 158 child predator arrests last year. Just from our agency. That doesn't include the state police, the FBI, local police. Just our guys made 158 child predator arrests last year. So there's bad people out there that want to talk to your kids. A lot of them. If you suspect someone is approaching your child or another child online for inappropriate conversation or meetings, you need to notify our office. Our child predator section, we have a toll-free phone number, and we have a text number. Now, these numbers are totally anonymous. They are a third-party service provider. These are not coming into Harrisburg to our operation, to our office. Your messages, your phone call are going off-site to a third-party contractor that maintains your privacy. They do not tell us who sent the message. They only send us the message from their phones to ours. So we don't get your phone number, we don't capture your caller ID, we don't know who you are. I am going to suggest if you are going to send us a tip, if you would be kind enough to share your information so we can get back to you if we have follow-up questions. That might make the difference in taking somebody off the street much quicker. It might aid in that investigation, and it might save other children from facing these fears. But if you'd rather not share your name and information, you can do that as well. And I have some screen wipes and brochures up here at the end that will have these numbers on it for you to take with you. Things you might want to know, take note of, and I don't have a printout of these. I was hoping to have some more from the printer, but I don't have them today. You can go online and Google internet acronyms that every parent needs to know, and you'll find a whole list. But if you see your kids type something on their phone real quick and put it down, and it's PIR, that's because you just walked in. So what was going on that they can't talk about it now that you're in the room? Right? Maybe someone's asking them to trade photos. Maybe it's an erotic photo, sugar pic. Maybe they want to meet up. They're having a party, 1174. They're broken, they're hungover from drinking or drugs. April 20th is the day you should pay attention to as a parent. April 20th, 420 means Marijuana Day. It's a very big issue across this country. Marijuana in Pennsylvania is illegal. Social use is totally illegal. If you see 420 or that date's marked on their calendars for some reason or highlighted, you want to be concerned. Let's meet in real life, very dangerous. Right? Talk dirty to me, TBTM. Get naked on camera, on the webcam. Naked in front of computer, NIFOC. Sex. CU46 is meet up for sex, CU for sex. Here's some things that you can do to help monitor what your kids are doing. Some resources. This is Kids Place, parental control. If you Google any of these, you'll learn more about it. If you just put on parental controls for smartphones and devices, you'll see a whole list. This one showcases only approved apps. You get to select what apps will be loaded on your kid's phone. You can also block incoming calls, and wireless signals can be disabled. Kukla, it's another one. Select those applications that you approve of. You don't leave access to other ones. You can also download that app and register an email address, and PIN codes will be sent that you can set up a security code that they can't change to controls. Abonia, this is a device monitoring app. You can watch what logs the kids go into, where they go, what they're searching. Secure Teen is another one. This lets you monitor the online searches and activity and what's being downloaded, brought into their device, like apps, photos, videos, other images. If you don't like what's installed on that phone, you can actually shut it down from your phone. It's like a remote to shut off an app that's been loaded by your teen. Screen time, parental controls another device, is blocks apps at a certain time. So basically, it's very important also that you notice a lot of kids have their computer in their bedroom, or they have their phone or device charging in their bedroom at night. That's a bad idea. That device, that phone, that computer, that tablet should be out in a common place in the home where other people are walking by and can monitor and watch kind of over your shoulder what might be going on the screen, maybe your family room or living room. When it's time to go to bed, those devices should be shut down and not allowed in the bedroom. Maybe mom, dad could have a place in their bedroom where they keep those devices at night to charge them. Because a lot of child predators make their contacts late at night with these kids, and they're up all night chatting on these devices, and texting and sending messaging, and mom and dad are sound asleep, don't even know this is going on, right? Kids Zone is another one. There's a bunch of these. We're not allowed to recommend one brand or one service. That's why I have so many on the screen. You're going to have to do your own homework and pick the one that you think is most appropriate for your child and your situation. This, again, lets you set time limits. The phone will only be active for 2 hours between this hour and that hour, that kind of thing. You can block apps. You can also block text messaging with this particular device. A parental control board is another one. Same thing. You can blacklist and whitelist phone numbers. You can approve and disapprove apps that are installed. Norton Family Parental Controls. This allows you to watch what websites have been visited. Again, restrict access to pornographic or inappropriate websites. It's a real nice feature. Set up email alerts. That way, if your child does try to get to one of those sites, it will send you an alert to your device. That's a real nice feature. You have logs of the text messages, as long as they're using the texting that's in the phone. If they're using Kick Messenger, I'm not sure if this can read that or not. You'd have to look and do a little homework about that. But so far, this does look like a pretty good option. Safe Kiddo, same kind of thing. These all have the same basic abilities. Some do a little more, some do a little less. So this will give you a report. It'll protect the network over the cloud, which is an added feature I haven't seen on the other ones yet. Safe search mode, browsing, child's age. You can do appropriate-based, age-based browsing. Funimo, again, same kind of thing. It also has the cloud network solution, internet filtering. So ask yourself, what is right for you and your family? And if you do find something on your child's device that you don't approve of, don't blow your head off. Don't go flipping out right away. Think about this. Say, well, wait. Is this something that's going to cost me? Is this something that's going to be worth really going bananas over? Is this something I got to really, really flip out about? Or is it a teaching moment? Is it a mistake? They weren't really looking, someone sent it to them, they got curious. Maybe a calmer discussion about why that's not a good idea. It might be an appropriate time. Or is it a take that down now, right? All of a sudden, whoa, what are you doing? Take that off immediately. Or is it just a kid being a kid? We have to ask ourselves as parents, how do we react when we find some of these concerns on our kids' devices? If we overreact, the kid might rebel. If we act like it's not a big deal at all, they might be testing the water and think, they don't care. Everyone has to make that decision for themselves. You know your family, you know your kids, you know your values, you know what you're looking at. So think before you react to these things. Think about how you might want to approach this and speak with your children, but definitely do something. Speak to the kids, be involved, find out what's going on. With that, I have 2 short video clips I want to share with everybody. These clips are very important. Our video productions are created by our office with the help of Commonwealth Media Services out of Harrisburg. We script these from true, actual cases. These are real case files with the real people. We don't hire actors. We get the people that were directly involved in the case to create the video. This is Gabriella's story. Gabriella was a young lady, going to middle school, very well liked by everyone, the teachers, other kids, good grades, involved in sports and school activities. Let's see what happens with Gabriella when she starts getting bullied by the girls in the grade above her.
Master slide it down. That's good.
I'm in 8th grade and I'm Central Middle School. I play field hockey and I love to smile and just laugh and have fun. I spend most of my time texting. It's all the time. It's just a thing to do and we're always on the internet. It's not a day we're not. About a year ago when I was in 7th grade, I was picked on a lot. These girls are in a grade above me. They picked on me every day and bullied me and posted things about me on the internet, just awful things. There was a spot on the bus, 5 minutes from school. I would start to get really nervous and get really sick to the stomach because I knew that what was coming that day. It was coming every day. I knew that I'd get to school and there'd just be more and I just wanted to get home. We started sending messages back to them. We thought that sticking up would make it stop. It actually made it a lot worse and things started getting really bad. And I got more scared. Me and my friend were talking and she commented on my page, which everybody could see. And she said that she was tired of it and that she wanted to bring a gun to school and she wanted to shoot these girls. And I replied back, yeah, it's my youth and that's all it took.
Once we were notified of the threats, Gabriella was immediately arrested.
I got pulled out of class. I never would have thought that I would ever go through this. I was a perfect student at school and then to find out I was arrested, it ruined everything.
She began to cry when she realized that her freedom had been taken away, all because of making threats.
I was so scared. I couldn't think right. I was just so lost and I wasn't sure what was going on. I kept thinking that these girls were going to get in trouble for what they said to me and then to find out later that they didn't get anything. They just were free.
She didn't like the way she was being treated, so instead of just telling somebody, which would be the right thing to do, she took the law into her own hands and said that she was going to kill somebody.
I went to the police station, they arrested me there, then I was sent to the juvenile detention center.
Gabrielle was photographed, fingerprinted, handcuffed, and taken to Youth Intervention Center.
It was really lonely here. I was in a little cell. So much time to think about things and regret the things you did.
It's a very sad state of affairs when you have to arrest a 13-year-old girl.
I started out being bullied in a way I was finding that turned me into the bully. It's not worth it. Now that I've been through all this and I'm telling you, I was sitting there once. Tell a teacher, don't let it get bad. Deal with it right away. Don't fight back either. It just makes it worse. And people may think it's a joke and that you get suspension and it'll be alright. No, you'll end up here.
Gabriella made some mistakes. In this video, we do show the kids at middle school and high school. This is one that we share often. Her mistake was she didn't go to a trusted adult to get the assistance and resources that she needed when she was being bullied. Tried to handle it herself, went to her friend. Tried to get more information that way. And her friend's idea was simply, well, let's threaten these kids and we're going to bring a gun to school and shoot them and that'll scare them and they'll leave us alone. Well, they made a threat all right. It wound up backfiring, got them in trouble. Somebody saw this on social media, alerted the school alerted the police, and you saw the outcome. We tell the kids, you're responsible for what you say, what you do, what you send, what you upload. You are responsible for your words and your actions on the internet as well as in person. You can't make a threat to bring a weapon to a school. That's going to be handled swiftly, and it's going to be handled severely. Of all the school shootings this country has seen, you can't take that lightly. The girls had no way to get us a gun, and none of the families had a gun that they knew. There was no gun, there wasn't going to be a gun. But they were arrested for making a threat, a terroristic threat. And today, with our new laws, if they would have reported this and not done that, the girls that were harassing them perhaps could have been charged with cyber harassment of a child. But at that time when this occurred, there was no law in place. So that's a good example of some of the things with the bullying. We also have another program, our Operation Safe Surf, and I'm going to give you a quick version of that so we can get an idea of some of the things that we have. And some of these, we have another story on the cyberbullying. It's about Jeff. Jeff's story is a young man who was bullied terribly in school, and then it went over onto the internet and continued. And the thing that we have to realize is the difference from physical direct bullying face-to-face or in school is that when school day is over, that usually stops. You can also try to avoid the person during the day and not be in their company. But when it's cyberbullying over the internet, when someone's using electronic media and devices to send messages like that are hurtful, that's nonstop. That's 24 hours a day, 365. Every time they power up, there's a message, there's an image, there's a text. It's constant. It's very difficult to deal with that and get away from it. Of course, people can block senders, people can power down, but they're going to resend it. They're going to use another username to come back and do it again and again. So they need to get the help that they need. They need to report to an adult that they trust, a family member, a teacher, a counselor. And we encourage the kids when we're in the schools about that. We're going to show you, this is the parents version. As you can see on the screen, it says Operation Safe Surf for Parents. We have a school version for the students. This is your version. So there's going to be some comments about sexual activity and things that we wouldn't normally show the kids directly, but we do show this to some of the high school students, their version. Tonight we're going to see the parents' adult version, just so you're aware of that. And this is Christina's story. She's a young lady that meets someone online, and they have an online...
Christina Long seemed like a happy, typical 13-year-old girl. She was a cheerleader, altar girl, and a 6th grade honor student at St. Peter's School in Danbury, Connecticut. After her parents divorced and her mother moved away, Christina came to live with her aunt, Shelley Riley. When Christina was 12, Shelley bought her a computer and felt secure, thinking her niece was safe at home online.
But then when she started staying up till 11 o'clock at night, and once on Saturday she was at 12 midnight, I thought she was watching TV and she was on the computer. I got a little concerned. There was a time when she said to me, Shelley, I think my friends on my computer I feel closer to than the kids at school. And that was another red flag for me.
On Friday nights when she wasn't online, Christina liked to go to the mall with her friends. Shelley always picked her up promptly at 9. But when she arrived on the night of May 17th, there was no sign of Christina.
In the first 10 minutes when she didn't show up, I was a little mad at her, because she was irresponsible. But then after 15 minutes went by, I started getting worried, and then after 30 minutes went by, I started getting very nervous. And by 9:45, my anxiety was sky high.
Shelley called the Danbury police, who initially suspected Christina was a runaway. The detective turned to her computer for clues about where she might have gone. At 6 a.m. the next morning, AOL finally gave him Christina's password. What he found surprised Shelley.
There was a message, and Des Reyes was saying to her, I'm sorry that I didn't wear a condom. And I was totally shocked to read that.
Christina's email revealed she had been seeing 24-year-old Saul Dos Reis, who lived with his wife in Greenwich, Connecticut. More importantly, she had plans to see him on May 17th, the night she disappeared. Danbury police arrested Dos Reis, and after intense questioning, he led them to a nearby neighborhood. There, lying face up in a stream, was Christina's body. She had been strangled.
I met her talking, she popped in one day, we started talking.
Dos Reis claims Christina instant messaged him first, based on a mutual interest in fast cars mentioned in his AOL profile. His screen name was Hot ES 300, the model of a Lexus automobile. Over the course of 4 weeks, they went from instant messaging to emailing and then started talking on the phone. According to the prosecution, Dos Reis seemed to know Christina was a minor. Moreover, he had enticed her, telling her she was attractive and sexy, and promising her gifts. Later, he asked for suggestive photos of her to show his friends. In an email he wrote, "We definitely got to show them something wild, right?" A common approach, according to Detective Jim McLaughlin, who has studied predators for over 15 years.
Offenders can listen to children. They respond to what they're saying. That feeds into that child's ego, and they can select kids as a result of those markers. They're looking for children with more technical knowledge than their parents, and especially for kids that don't seem to be listened to, don't have anyone in their lives that are willing to show them attention. And those are the children they're selecting online for victimization.
Shelley has left her niece's room the way it was the day she disappeared. She had warned Christina about internet predators and meeting people online. Christina assured her she was streetwise, yet before her aunt made her change it, her screen name was Long Too Hot For You.
I believe she was exploring her sexuality in a dangerous way, but she didn't know that. And it was safer to explore it, she felt, on the internet than to explore it with me or to explore it with her classmates or her friends who weren't at the point she was at yet because they were all a year younger than her.
Like her aunt, Christina's friends didn't know she was meeting people online.
I mean, I did it too, but I'd never met anyone, so I don't know if I knew enough to tell her to stop. But I'm lucky now that I know better, because I don't know if I could have made the same mistake. So I'm really lucky.
Christina's death has had an effect on her church and community, and especially on her friends and their interactions with others.
Just realizing that something like that could happen to someone that I knew scared me, and I'm always on the computer, constantly. I have some friends who sometimes they like to have a relationship online. They meet someone online, like through chat rooms, and they talk. And I don't support that at all. I sometimes come to the point of tears by yelling at them because I'm so scared that what happened to Christina might happen to them.
In May 2003, Sol Dos Reis was sentenced to 30 years in prison for manslaughter and second-degree sexual assault, and an additional 40 years on federal charges to be served concurrently. Like many predators, Dos Reis doesn't seem to be able to stop at just one victim.
Yes, I had a lot of friends online.
Did you ever meet any of them in person?
Yes.
Even from behind bars, last year, Dos Reis posted a webpage encouraging young women to write to him. Since then, his page has been removed.
I think that her death actually made me smarter. I used to be a big pushover. I do anything that anyone told me to do. But now, you can ask some of my friends, I am the person who tells people what to do. I don't take anything from anyone anymore. I just learned to respect life a whole lot more.
Christina's legacy to us may be a warning that online relationships may involve a false sense of intimacy, that some people may say things in order to manipulate us, that certain risks may not be worth taking, and finally, that when it comes to the internet, we need to look out for ourselves and for those around us.
She was fun-loving, sweet, generous, kind. She cared more about other people than herself. Often, had this great gift of making other people feel good about themselves. And she and I had a really, really close bond, as close as two people could possibly be.
So that just gives you an idea of how easily someone could be led down the wrong path over an internet communication. This guy was so bold, he continued to have online communications while in custody in prison. It's a sickness. People just are sick. And they're looking for young boys and girls to meet. In the beginning I said, don't sit here and say, not my child. I want you to leave here and think, what can I do so it won't be my child? That's our messaging this evening. I thank you for coming out. Again, I have some brochures up front. I have some screen savers with our contact information for our child predator section. If you need to contact us, our website, www.attorneygeneral.gov. We have a lot of resources there. And I thank you for taking the first step in coming out this evening and looking into this matter seriously. Internet safety is everyone's business, and we're so glad that you were here this evening.